I want you to want, what I want you to feel. But it's like no matter what I do, I can't convince you to just believe this is real. So let go, watching you turn your back like you always do. Face away and pretend that I'm not, but I'll be here cause you're all that I got. I can't feel the way I did before. Don't turn your back on me, I won't be ignored. Time won't take this damage anymore. Don't turn your back on me, I won't be ignored. I'm a little bit insecure, a little unconfident, cause you don't understand to do what I can, but sometimes I don't make sense. I am what you never want to say, but I've never had a doubt. It's like no matter what I do, I can't convince you for once just to hear me out. So let go, watching you turn your back like you always do. Face away and pretend that I'm not, but I'll be here cause you're all that I got.
It's showtime.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Shin Hantang Pro League. I was due to be with a co-caster today, but unfortunately he must be busy or something, so it's just me for today, but don't worry too much about that. It should still be a good show. Now I've made a few changes to the overlay. I've updated a load of stats. My cat is already fed up with my voice, so she's getting off, and you can see her off to the side, but still, it's going to be a fun day. Had a tiring day at work, but this is going to rejuvenate me because it is time for some Brood War. Now, we've got a couple of good games coming up for you here today. A couple of series, obviously. But first, let's have a look at the table so far. Okay, so currently at the top of Group A, which is what we're going to be focusing on here to start with, we're going to have Red. Currently, they're going to be playing today as well. They will have a chance to extend their lead and to guarantee themselves a place in the final, or the playoff finals, should I say, in a good seed as well. Well, not playoff finals, playoffs. That'll be the end of the round. But they're currently 4-0. They have a chance to make it 5-0 here. And second to them are Naz, close behind with 3-1. At 12-6, they're actually ahead of White Clan by 1 win. So that does mean that if things do not change over the next 2 weeks, week 6 and week 7, we will have a European team and an American team making out Group A. But White will certainly have something to say about that in their next few games. And now, of course, there are teams at the bottom of the table as well. You've got Bull, Psystorm, Media, and DM aren't too far behind the leaders either, but the bottom 3 teams can't make it to the playoffs now, but they are still going to be showing a lot of spirit in these games, so look forward to that as well. And let's have a look at the player table, which is now fully up to date, and everything is completely statistically accurate. You can see that at the moment we've got Yeti, Famas, Koget, Tech, KuH, Dandy, Dragon, by 0 and Cryox, so that's 5 Terrans, 3 Protoss and 2 Zerg in the top 10, so that's not too bad. I'm actually surprised, but Yeti is absolutely dominating the competition with 11 wins, 2 losses overall, and he's been doing a crazy job. Now, of course, we're going to be moving on to our first best of 5 here, which I will announce in just a second. Let's just have a quick look at the maps we're going to be seeing. It's going to be Return of the King, Flight Dreamliner, Troy, Triathlon, and New Sniper Ridge. So without further ado, let's move on over and introduce our first teams. Okay, so in our first match of today, we're going to have a bit of a match of Group A Titans here, as we do have Red, the leaders of Group A, and also the team with the highest win rate in Round 2 entirely. It's going to be Red. Now, Red did a good job last season, or last round even, just missing out on that playoff spot with a 3-for-3. And they're in a very strong group, by the way. And now they are 4-0. They did beat White Clan, so they've beaten arguably people would say the strongest team in the entire tournament, and they're here gonna go up against pSi. Now pSi Didn't do too well last round. They did go 0 for 5, but they've done a lot better this round. 1 for 3. Obviously, it's still not a perfect score. They've had some tough opponents, but they've certainly been trying their best, and it's certainly been showing as in their games in their series. There's definitely been an improvement among the pSi players. Some of them we will see today. Let's actually quickly have a look at who they're going to be. We're going to start off with KuH and Cold, Eridor and Headmaster, Last and Marine, KuH and Mukja. And should be a fun set of matchups here. We do have a couple of mirrors. We have a ZVZ and a TVT in this matchup, and of course we don't know if or what the ace match is going to be. But either way, it should be quite fun to see this series. I'm looking forward to Last versus Marine especially. Marine's PvT, very, very good. KuH is a very good TVTer as well, but I'm not too sure of the skill level of Mukja, so I know that starting us off here is going to be an insane ZVC, and the reason for that is KuH is... Wait, what did it say grass there? Okay, let's just quickly fix that. You know, good start. There we go, it's like nothing ever happened. Okay, so KuH is a great ZVC player, and Cold, we've seen some good games from him. Like, he went 1 for 4 last round, but he's had some crazy games, crazy matchups as well, and looking forward to it. And okay, so the cool thing is Rapid is here, so let's get him in. Let's get him in here. He can join us all. Howdy, welcome.
Oh, hello. There, I couldn't hear you for a second.
Yeah, I needed to turn on the voice activation, and my words have gone.
I think you need to turn on your own voice activation there, Kix.
My what?
Your voice activation.
It's turned on.
Okay, there we go. Oh, is it now? Well, Kix, you're this is a little fast now. Well, thanks for having me. Sorry, I guess I missed your notification a little bit earlier. But you know, it comes with the territory of casting at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And I guess your situation comes to the territory of having a cat.
Yeah, kind of. I don't know if you just heard my cat in the background, but she's meowing her
Yeah,
head
like
off. So
she's just trying to cast with you.
she is. She's joining in. And you know what? I was just introducing the players. I think. Oh wait, I'm not actually rehosting the replay. I should probably do that, and then you can join in the background. But I was just saying that KuH is a very good Zerg player. His ZVC has been very good. He did only play one. I think it was actually last round he played that, but it was a really cool ZVC to watch. And Cold, he's had some good games as well, and it should be quite fun to see them. And thank you, Vincent, for the host. Welcome to his viewers. You are tuning in to the STPL. We're just about to get ready with our first game here. Rapid's just joining. And did that make you download it?
No, I had already copied it.
Cool,
so.
It did work. I wasn't sure if that worked or not. But either way, let's have a look at what map they're going to be playing on now. It's going to be Return of the King. I know this is actually... we haven't seen this too much, but it has been a haven for ZVZ throughout the STPL, and you can see that reflected in the stats. There's been 3 ZVZs, 3 TVZs, and 1 PvP and 1 TVT. So there's been a lot of Zergs been sent out on this. Zerg are actually 3-0 up against Terran as well. So certainly a Zerg favoured map in terms of what players people are sending out. And looking forward to it here as we move on to our first game of this evening. And let's get started. And starting us off here in the top right hand position, we do have starting for pSi. In the peach, it's gonna be cold.
Or not in Seoul, it's not. It is about 35 degrees outside right now, and it's the middle of the night, so I wish it were. But his opponent in the bottom left-hand corner of Return of the King is KuH, playing, of course, for Team Red in the yellow.
Yeah, now, if you've just tuned in, you may not know this, but Red are currently the top ranked team in the entire league at the moment. In round 2, they're actually 4-0 throughout all of their matches. They beat White last week in a really impressive best of 5, and they're looking to extend their league and their lead even. And if they can win this game, they are guaranteed, I believe, to move on to the round 2 playoffs. So this is a very important week for them.
Yeah, I would say always a very important week because, of course, every game does matter, but specifically this week. So I'm glad you pointed that out, Kix. Just keeping an eye on the builds, and it does look like we are going to have at least potentially 12 starts for both players. That's a little bit okay. There's a little bit of lag there, but yeah, kind of rare. Usually you'll see at least one player go for some earlier or more aggressive build, but this is just going to be what looks like 12 pools on both sides, if I'm not mistaken.
Possibly. It looks like we certainly have Cold with his drone ready there. Gets that straight by his gas. And we have a pool coming in for KuH as well. So mirror builds here right now. But we do see KuH going for that very quick gas, and so does Cold.
Yeah, wow, so this is actually super weird. It's identical builds by identical races, of course, and they're spawning out close positions. So their overlords are also scouting wrong direction, but should also scout correctly with their second one. So they'll see each other at roughly the same time. They have exactly the same build, and this gets us into one of these cool ZVZ situations where it's sort of like, you know, both people facing off with knives, right? You know, whoever makes the first move, because they both have exactly the same.
Yep, now interestingly, KuH has been a little bit quicker with his other buildings, but his hatchery was ever so slightly later, so it's not going to be too much of a big deal, but every second does count in a real-time strategy game, and it should be interesting to see if that can play into it. Now, one thing I did notice, which was kind of weird, is Cold actually stopped his Overlord for a very long time on the left-hand side of the map. He's only just now started to move it again, so he could have got a little bit of a quicker scout, but unfortunately for him, it didn't work out.
It's unfortunate, but I guess you can't really do anything about that right now. The biggest thing to look at is the deviation that has just occurred. It is going to be a hatchery being thrown down for both players, but what do you do with the lings? For Cold, he's sending them across the map to maybe get a little bit of scouting information, but for KuH, he's actually kept them back at home. So while the builds are still going to be a little bit similar, the biggest thing is going to be speed versus lair, and it's going to be speed for Cold and lair coming up now for KuH.
Yeah, it is, and it looks like Cold did see the other overlord and decided to turn back. We do see the lair coming in for both players now as well, so still mirror builds. We have a few extra links coming out for KuH though, so I would imagine this is going to lead to Cold having a little bit of a drone advantage as we move into this mid-game.
Yeah, I think it's basically going to be that advantage, and whether or not his opponent can punish him for it. Obviously, lair and getting that tech up is very nice. Having it faster than your opponent can be good, but when it comes to mutas, if your opponent has a slightly slower lair, that's not too bad, because maybe his mutas are slower, they pop out, your mutas are across, or your mutas are on his turf, and so he has home field advantage. I don't know. I mean, ideally, if these are going to be mutas coming out, then you're going to kill off a couple of overlords, but the Spire has just now been thrown down for KuH. And where is that for Cold? Oh yeah, I guess he doesn't have one yet. His lair is just now finishing.
Yep, the Spire should be going down fairly soon. I would imagine he's going to put it next to his gas, but it doesn't necessarily mean anything.
What? There's no Spire here. There's nothing but lings in production either.
Here we go, the Spire's coming up now.
Wow, that was actually pretty slow Spire considering the lair timing. So much faster Spire now for KuH.
Yeah, KuH has a faster Spire, but he does now have less lings, so there's been a bit of weird back and forth here on the ling count. Like, I guess we will have those Spire units coming out a little bit quicker for KuH, but the difference isn't actually that big. It looked like Cold Spire was a lot slower than it actually was. They're only about 200 health behind, and by the time the Mutalists do get over to the other side of the map, we should have some hatching for Cold as well.
Now, eventually we're going to see both players with their knives out lunge at each other, and they'll both die. But then, because of the magic of bad analogies and Brood War, they'll both come back to life as their mutas spawn, and we enter, phase 2 of this game. But sometimes you get a chance to see what it looks like when both players play defensively. So KuH is on the offense, now Cold's on the offense, and it's just going to be a weird, wacky way to play out this game until the mutas pop.
Yeah, no, this looks like a good engagement for Cold. He did get the initiative, but KuH with a very good concave. But it's so hard to follow link battles, especially on the minimap when it's cream versus yellow as well. This couldn't be like worse colors for this. But it looks like Cold may have too many. He's gonna get some links in the main, and he could do a lot of damage with this.
Oh, if he's able to get a drone or two, that would actually be fantastic. So good drone drills. That's actually really good control. And the cleanup should be really, I don't want to say easy because it's speed links, but doable.
Yep, and he certainly cleaned that up. Now it is going to be a little bit of a hit to his economy just for a second there as his drones were pulled away from mining. But we should have his, well, we actually went Scourge first, so they're not really going to be too helpful given the fact his Spire was quicker.
Scourge the Overlord! Scourge the Overlord! Aww. Oh, never gonna do that, of course. But you know, the defense is going to be good. It's kind of weird to see Scourge first because KuH had the faster layer. Oh, he did Scourge the Overlord, my man.
And that's actually gonna supply block Cold as well. That's actually not very good for him. And oh my god, the Scourge are getting on top of the eggs. Oh, but it's actually Scourge popping out the eggs first, and he does manage to trade pretty well.
Wow, so he's trading Scourge with Overlords and with fellow Scourge. That's actually, you almost never get a chance to see that, specifically just because it's very tight on the economy. You can't really just throw those units away, but hey, that's really cool, making the most out of it. But that supply block is actually gigantic.
Yeah, and he's still not out of it. It takes a long time to get an Overlord up, especially when you're so badly wanting to get your A units up. Finally, one does spawn, but that's going to be another 100 minerals he's going to have to spend immediately.
Oh wow, bad Scourge control on both sides, but he actually Scourges the Scourge again to save his Muta. Took one Scourge hit, so it's going to be a little bit vulnerable. Oh, the Scourge versus Muta Micro, no! He fails it horribly! This is Scourge on Scourge. This is actually crazy.
Yeah, and an Overlord went down as well.
Now, at this point, if you had no Scourge being made and just a billion Speedlings, there's a chance that KuH could actually win the game. Are there any Sunkens out? No, there's actually no Sunkens.
Oh!
So, for all
my god,
there are actually no ground units here. So KuH, he's only got to deal with one Muta. He can actually still maybe even kill off a key structure with only those Zerglings as long as there were no drones pulled.
Yeah, he doesn't quite know there's no Sunken in the main, so he's going to pull back for now, but Cold's Zerglings got caught on hold position there and nearly cost him the game because they didn't do anything. And I mean, Cold has lost a lot of Scourge throughout this. He's lost a couple of Mutalists as well. So has KuH, so it's a bit... This is a very scrappy ZVZ. It's very, very rare that you actually see a ZVZ go this scrappy. They're both on very low drone counts as well. Oh, and Overlord gets taken down again.
So one interesting characteristic of this map is that there is an island base on Return of the King down there in the corner. So you can actually take that, but as Zerg, you'd have to research drop and all kinds of craziness. But
yeah.
So if the game stabilizes, right? Maybe that frees up enough for that tech to come through. Drop can actually be really, really key in ZVZ if you can actually make it work. You usually absolutely never see that. You usually never see late game as ZVZs. But hey, anything can happen. I'm just mentioning a couple of cool characteristics of a map you might not have seen before.
Yeah, now Cold just did a great job with his Scourge micro there. He actually took down 2 Scourge. He traded really efficiently. And then he nearly took out the 2 Mutalists. But is Cold going to survive long enough to actually make use of this? Those 2 mutants from KuH should go straight down, but the Scourge!
Oh, and actually saving the Muta, KuH has to pull back. All the Lings, though, on the ground are actually going to take out this Sunken. So that goes down, it gets killed off, and now there's Lings in the main. And actually taking down one of the Mutas with some Scourge as well. This is actually really sick control, and now there's a ton of Speedlings in the middle line. The drones are forced to run. There's no income right now. He's actually going to try to target down the Spire.
Oh, this could be so huge. It's going to take him a long time.
There's only one Muta!
He's trying to
pull the drones.
He's trying to drill. It's so close!
Oh my god, how did he get that? That's insane, and I'm glad that KuH basically did what I was saying earlier, where he realized, hey, there's only one Muta, no Sunken, go for it, and he takes down the Spire. This is almost certainly game over. Yeah,
unfortunately, he did save all of his drones, but without a Spire, all he can build is Lings, but he doesn't have the money, and this is just going to be so unfortunate for him. GG! And KuH is going to take down yet another opponent.
But that was a super 6 DVZ. You got a chance to see a lot of cool micro, but more importantly, kind of the bigger decision making coming through there from KuH, realizing the setup that his opponent had and saying, hey, there's just no sunkens here. He kills the one in the natural, runs by, and even though there's a Muta out killing his Lings, he made the better unit investment and he wins the game because of it.
He did indeed. Now let's head on over to the intro as we get ready for our next